Okay, welcome back. Now, this is a very crucial session, and I would like you to engage in questions and answers, but we won't do it the style that we did yesterday. Instead, we'll just have the session in a very interactive fashion. Because creativity is something which you engage in a always in that total way. It's not separate from life. It should all be part of whatever we are doing, the whole workshop. We are actually engaging in creativity. This is the way to look at creativity. Creativity is not separate endeavor from how we live. Can we make living itself a creative living? How do we do that? Well, first of all, if we always center about an archetype, then we are already doing it. What kind of archetype should we look at? That's where our preferences come in. Some archetypes are a bit specialized, but certain archetypes are very common. Everybody wants to do it. And these are the archetypes that we are choosing, aren't we? We are choosing archetypes such as abundance, power. Everybody needs them. Who does not here need abundance, sense of abundance? Because abundance, sense of abundance makes you a person who is satisfied with the means that you have. You are not always looking for how do I make money? How do I have more than I need? That necessity that comes to us, it produces so much heartburn, so much negative emotions, because we compare somebody else, oh, that somebody has a wonderful suit I don't have, or somebody has a wonderful jewelry I don't have. Why do I hanker for this? I have enough to get by. That sense comes from the sense of abundance. I have plenty. Okay? It's not a question of having wealth. There are people who are billionaires, but they are not satisfied. Every moment they're suffering, no, there is another billionaire who even has more money than I do. What good is money if I do not have the sense of abundance? Same thing with power. If I don't have the power to engage in creativity and making changes in myself, if I feel helpless and hopeless all the time, then looking at other archetypes become impossible. I need the power. I need the sense of, yes, I can do. Yes, I can do. Wouldn't you all like to have that feeling? That somebody gives you a challenge and immediately you see the challenge? How do I see in a situation where it can be interpreted both as danger and suffering as well as an opportunity to be creative? How do I face those situations if I don't feel this sense of power? Okay? So I have to have the beginning archetypes, a sense of the beginning archetype, abundance and power. If you don't feel abundance and power, pay attention to them. Pay attention to them. It's very important. And pay attention to them along with love and goodness, because otherwise the selfish pursuit of abundance and power give all kinds of problems, create all kinds of problems in the world that you don't particularly want. You have gone through all that. Those are the selfish pursuits that people do initially when they begin their journey. So abundance, power with love and goodness, that's a must. And then we come the specialized things, truth, beauty, justice. There you have to be kind of choosy. Not for everyone. And then again we have wholeness, and self is of course not for everyone at all. You have to be ready. But wholeness is something that we all want to a degree or another. Wholeness is an essential archetype for the quantum activist, because the first thing we want to do is to integrate our thinking and living and livelihood. Creativity is basic to wholeness. Creativity is basic because creativity, that integration of creativity and conditioning, quantum self and the ego, the aspects of the quantum unconscious, bring that into manifestation. That's basic to quantum activism. And creativity is basic to investigation of all archetypes. Archetypes require creativity. Intuition that we talked about is just the beginning. So, 4 stages, but the stages are full of subtleties. What does preparation entail? How does one begin the creative journey? How do we educate our children so that they will never lose sight of creativity? What do we miss the most that we never become even interested in this wonderful endeavor called creativity? What is really lacking in modern pursuit of life? It can be summarized in just one word. What is lacking is inspiration. Does that relate? Okay, so I want you to share with me. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Inspiration. How many of you feel that you have inspiration in your life? Okay, quite a few. That is good. What can we do for inspiration? What inspires that, and when we are inspired, then how do you feel? Could somebody share? When you are inspired, how do you feel? What's different? You are not inspired, and you are inspired. What's the difference? A lot of you raised your hand. One of them, please speak up. Yeah, okay. Microphone, please, and
I feel sense of movement.
Okay. That's all? Movement? What else do you feel? Anybody else, please? When you feel inspired, what do you feel? Good. Please, microphone.
Uplifting.
Uplifting, good. Uplifting. Okay, it's uplifting. And what can you do with this uplifting? How does it feel to be uplifted? Uplifted for what?
For something I saw in another person or some idea.
Oh, did you say, do you speak in English? Okay. That's funny. Could you repeat? I was listening for the translation.
I like to do something I saw in another person or I heard some idea.
You like to do something. What happens when we are inspired, we feel empowered. I can do anything, right? In that inspired moment, we can do anything. So creativity, first of all, requires that inspiration. Can I do this archetype? Can I actually, me, small person, just one person, have so little capacity, so little success, and can I do this? Can I love someone? Can I be good to people? Can I heal someone? These are requires enormous amount of inspiration. But that's what inspiration is for. It feels like in those moments, it feels like, if you are a scientist, it feels like you are an Einstein. You can do anything. If you are a healer, you feel like the great doctors of the past. You could do anything. You can heal anyone, including yourself. That's inspiration. And we need that. We need that. Inspiration gives us intention. Intention. Now, for a quantum activist, intention means something very specific. Intention is everything here. Because intention is that, okay, I choose to act. I choose to be creative. I choose life. I choose archetypes. Right? This intention is that, okay, I am now clear. I'm going to choose the positive. I choose happiness. I choose intelligence. Intention to choose these things. I choose to manifest. I choose to manifest the archetypes in my life. Right? But again, we must know that if I choose to manifest only for me, then I am ignoring something. I am ignoring the fact that I am, however, potentially capable of expanding. The reason that I want to choose these archetypes is to expand. And here I am. I just want everything for myself. Where is my caring for my neighbor? Where is the caring for my loved one? Don't I also intend for them? I want to expand, so why don't I prepare for that expansion? Expansion means that I want to be inclusive of other people. How can I intend only for myself and not for the others? So I intend, first of all, for self, and then for others. Okay? And then I realized something. Then I realized that my choice is obviously not going to manifest the fruit of the action. Yes, I will act, I will be creative, I will go through the creative process, and there will be a product. But all of this depends on that insight that will come to me at some point. Creative insight, the new idea. Where does the new idea come from? New idea comes from, we already settled, from the part of the unmanifest part of the unconscious. Unconscious has the manifest part, already that has been manifest before in my personal memory. That's easy. I can remember them at my will. no big sweat. Then there is the collective unconscious, a little bit harder, but still that's in the mankind's collective memory. It's still not so difficult to remember those things. But I have never had a new thought, unmanifest thought, previously unmanifest thought. There is hardly any probability for getting to that. How do I get to that? What happens if it is in my memory? I can increase the probability of recall by recalling again and again. Recall increases the probability of recall. Everybody knows that. We constantly regurgitate, memorize. What is memorization but increasing the probability of recalling? We can do that if it is in my memory. How can I do that with something that I don't know what it is? Unknown is very difficult to prepare for. I don't know what it is. I cannot recall what I don't know, right? So recognizing that, I realize that my intention, if it is in the complete agreement with the intention of the movement of consciousness, we already settled the idea that consciousness has purpose, and the purpose of evolution is to bring these archetypes in embodiment. We talked about that yesterday. This being the case, if I can make my intention consonant, in resonance with the movement of consciousness, okay, consonant with the movement of consciousness. And the last stage of it is silence. So shall we make it a little practice? How to make intention. Okay? Sit comfortably. Every day, practice intention making. This intention making is an extremely important practice for creativity. Extremely important practice for art of manifestation. How to manifest things in our lives, including money. Abundance, money is part of abundance. If you feel shortage of abundance, intend for abundance. Not money per se, but intend for abundance. Intentions work best for archetypes. Because why? Because archetypes are already part of the movement of consciousness. Consciousness wants us to have the archetypal embodiment. Consciousness wants us to have archetypes in our lives. Okay? Abundance, power, love, every archetype. If we intend at the archetypal level, the chance goes up hundreds of thousands of times than if we just intend from our base emotions or from our selfish needs. Okay? So, sit comfortably, close your eyes. Intend. I intend. Whatever it is that intending. You choose your archetype. I intend. Archetype of your choice. I intend. Fill in the gap, abundance, power, love, goodness, wholeness, whatever it is. Whichever archetype you intend. Even stronger, I intend. I intend for this archetype to come into my life. I intend to embody this archetype. I intend a creative insight about this archetype, which then I want to live. Feel that intention, feel inspired by the intention. Second stage. I intend this archetype in my life for the greater good, for everybody's good. If this archetype comes to fruition in my life, I will use it for the greater good. If power comes to me, I will empower others as well. If abundance comes to me, I'll share. If love comes to me, I will love people. If goodness comes to me, I will be good in my relationship. If truth comes to me, I'll share with people. If justice comes to me, I will be fair to people. I will share things of beauty with everyone. And I will be whole in relationship with people. Every archetype, this idea of sharing, having the archetype in relationship with others, extremely important. I'm just not for only myself, I'm also for others. Let this intention be for the greater good. Third stage. Let this intention be consonant, be in synchrony, be in congruence with the movement of consciousness. In the ancient time, people used to say, "Thy will be done." God's will be done, if it is God's will. Let this will be in resonance with what God's will is. Today we don't need to use the word God because that has many connotations. We just say movement of consciousness, the purpose of consciousness. Let this intention be in complete synchrony with the purposive movement of consciousness. Make that strong. And as you feel that strength, last stage is to end in silence. This silence is very important because rest of it is like a prayer. Silence is where you are really letting that prayer come to stay and resonate, becoming a potentiality. Go to the unconscious. Before it was at the conscious level, now it becomes a wave of potentiality and start expanding in silence. And it will be processed by the unconscious. And in the processing, if a new potentiality opens, then it will go into that part of the unconscious where nobody can process but the unity consciousness, which you used to call God. So this is the way to invite the divine, invite the whole, invite the consciousness as a whole, that unity consciousness. Okay? After you feel that your intention has resonated in silence, you can very slowly open your eyes. If we do this intention practice, our sense of power, our sense of ability of doing it increases by leaps and bounds. And what happens, the first thing that happens in our life that changes is the third eye of preparation, intuition. Your intuition increases. So, we start with inspiration. We go into intention. We end into intuition. Intuition gives us a definite sense of what aspect of the archetype do we want to investigate. That gives us the preliminary idea. Intention is about the preliminary idea of investigation. Seed idea. Just an intuition. You look into this. You are a businessman, you are intuiting, okay, this is the kind of business that I'd like to do. Steve Jobs, a college dropout, had this process. He felt inspired one day and intended with his friend, Steve Korniak, and started intending. They didn't know what to do, had no idea. And then they had the intuition. Let's go into this communication business with modern technology. Discovered cell phone. So, this is the way scientist also proceeds. You feel inspired, you make intention, and intuition comes. Investigate this problem. This is a problem where you have some preparation already. This is the problem that you can do. It can happen many other ways too. Sometimes somebody else will come and challenge you. I had that happen to me. I was looking for love but didn't know it. But then I married this American woman and she started saying, you don't know how to love. For you, love is just in your brain, cerebral. Can you love me from your heart? That became a challenge to me. I didn't even know what heart is. I said, what are you talking about? I didn't believe her. But she says, she's completely certain that I don't know how to love. For me, I love you is just a statement. She said, no, you have to feel it. How do I feel? I cannot tell you. Feel with your heart. But what is heart? Heart is just a pump. I used to argue with her. She is adamant. No, there is something, you just have to find it. She didn't know, but she knew that what she's saying, there is truth in it. Feel it, feel it. And eventually I learned to feel it. It's amazing. So motivation can come from a variety of sources. It can be a challenge from somebody, the problem is given to you, you've got to do it. Or it can be your own inspiration, your own intention. The intuition will say that, okay, do this. And then creative process begins. Okay, so this is just the beginning of preparation. Now you are ready. Now you engage with the creative process. So creative process, preparation, now we have a problem. The intuition has given us a problem to solve, right? You can look at it that way, problem to solve. How do I love my wife? That was my problem. You can make a problem for yourself of any archetype of similar question. It can be mundane, like how do I make enough money to feel that I have enough, I have abundance? How do I feel power? How do I see beauty in this person? You have a person in your life, your own child, you don't think she's pretty enough. How do I see beauty in her? Huge challenge, no? It's interfering with your loving your child because you think that the child is ugly. Lots of mothers suffer from this problem. How do I love my child? How do I see beauty in this child? You can make a problem from your intuition. That's what intuition is for. Finding a problem. Creativity researchers call it problem finding. Very important stage. And now preparation begins. So we have found our problem, intuition has come, now we can begin preparation. The main aspect of preparation is again another I, imagination. What do? We have a problem. What do we do? How do we begin? My wife said, love from your heart, feel. I didn't know what feeling is. My belief system was that everything comes from the brain, and brain gives us emotion. I didn't know what emotion is. I didn't know what emotion is connected with feeling. I knew that women talk about feeling. I always thought it's a word that they throw. But then things started happening. A guy comes in the psych department. I get a call from the psych department, and this psychologist, my friend, psych professor, says there is a guy who is claiming that he has acquaintance with vital energy. He can make you feel vital energy, this thing. We think it's all garbage, but you are the hard scientist, so please come and help us out. Check this guy. So this guy is doing a very simple exercise. You will all do that now. He was just rubbing his palms, right? Rub your palms. See what happens, okay? First we try to feel the energy ourselves. Let's see if we can feel. Make a little gap. Gap because if you touch, then the touch stimulus will be overpowering the vital energy. So make a little gap and close your eyes and see if you can feel tingles. Okay? Feel tingles? How many of you feel tingles? Okay, good. More? We can always, the skin is very useful to get tingles because every organ is connected with vital, right? So if we stimulate any organ, we can get vital energy. Skin is the easiest to stimulate. And again, make a little gap, close your eyes and feel the tingles. There's a way of amplifying it. Stand up. Oops. Now really do it in style. Okay. Vigorous Close your eyes, make a gap, and now you can rotate counterclockwise or clockwise. See if the tingle is amplified. It should amplify. Should become bigger and bigger. As you feel confident, yes, they are amplifying, you can increase the gap between your palms. It's okay, distance doesn't matter. These things are non-local. It's not communicating with any signal. It's a non-physical energy. You just feel it directly with consciousness. Okay, now spread your arms like this, as if you're asking the cosmos to give you vital energy, coming from the vital world. And the energy can really be felt now. It really should be amplified. Okay? And now bring them close again. And make a gap like this. Okay? And the neighbor, give up your gap and put your palm inside your neighbor's palms. Neighbor like this, and you put your palm in your neighbor's palm. And see if you can feel neighbor's energy. No, the one person will be like this, and the other person, yeah, you like this, and I just put my palm and see if I can feel her energy. Okay? This is the experiment that we are doing. And I could feel the energy of the guy, but the other guys couldn't feel it. Because they're so prejudiced, they are profoundly feeling the energy. Not difficult to feel somebody else's vital energy, is it? Is it? Yeah, keep on trying it. Once you get the hang of it, it's so beautiful. You can just do this and feel it, amplify it, and then bring it to your face. And one fantastic way of getting rid of tiredness is to just bathe yourself with that energy and you will feel refreshed immediately. It's like putting water on your face. Water does the same thing. It has vital energy. And your palms can revitalize you by bathing you with vital energy. This is that quantum energy that we introduced yesterday, movement of the morphogenetic fields, that vital software. So simple, so simple. Okay? Now, of course, we have a major problem of vital energy balancing, the male-female problem. So how do I solve that problem? Okay, first of all, notice that we have been saying that females have more access to the heart chakra, and males have more access to the navel chakra. Okay. Now let's see if we can test this a little. First, the women. Close your eyes. And imagine your loved one. If you need to, you can imagine or visualize even better an incident with your loved one. It could be your conjugal love, or it could be your child. Either way. Both works very well for women. And see if you can feel the energy in your heart. Heart should be expanded. Heart should feel warm. And if the love is very young love, then heart might even feel tingle. Visualize strongly and strongly and see if you can feel the energy in your heart. Okay, how many of you feel the energy in your heart? Please, raise your hands. Okay, some of you do and most of you do, good. Now the men's turn. Your strong feature is the navel. How do you feel the navel energy? The sense of power, I can do it. I can accomplish. Okay, the car has lost a tire, I can change it. Money has to be made, sure, I will find it for my business. I have a problem to solve, I'll solve it. You need help, I'll help you. Power. Where do we feel the power? We feel the power in the navel. Gut feeling. I have a gut feeling. I have a feeling in the gut that I can do it. That can-do spirit. Close your eyes and bring that can-do spirit. Visualize a time when you could do something of that nature that we just talked about. Yes, you could, and you did. Power. You have the power to get things done. Accomplishment. You have the self-respect. Yes, I can do. You have the self-assurance. Gut feeling. I feel strong in my gut. Memory health is very helpful. Remember such an incident where you came through, you performed. When it was demanded of you, you came through, you delivered. Remember that incident and feel the energy in your gut. That strength. Yes, I have what it takes. I know how to get things done. So how many of you are getting a gut feeling, strength in your gut? Good, good. Okay, wonderful. Not hard, not hard. These things are our strength. Okay, now we have to balance these two chakras. Men do not usually feel the energy in the heart. Women usually do not feel the energy in the gut. Cultural, biological difference. Biology also comes in because women have to be prepared for motherhood, so naturally biology is built to give women a strong heart. Without a heart, once in a while we hear stories about mothers who cannot take care of their children. Aberration. Why? Because somehow they have lost that ability of heart energy. So women have to be this way, otherwise children would not be cared for. Caring a children, if it was not built into us as an instinct, believe me, it would be extremely difficult. Impossible practically. That instinct helps us. Okay? And similarly, men have to have that instinctual ability of doing things because they have a bigger body, they have a more strong body, they have to do the fighting with the environment for us traditionally. Remember, our bodies are built with that environmental struggle in mind. Bodies are not built for the 12,000 years of human civilized history. Bodies are built for when human beings were fighting with nature. So that fighting spirit, who fights for us? The men had to do it, right? So it's that energy that we carry, that instinctual gut energy, that can-do spirit, provider, the hunter, that spirit. It's built into us, right? So how do we balance the two? Men have to bring the energy up to the heart, women have to bring energy down to the gut. So the people of the Chinese tradition, they have a movement called Qigong, movement exercises, or Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a little more structured. And these gestures, just gesture. You activate the two palms, stand up. And then we put the palms like this, okay, activated palms. And we hold the palms in the navel chakra. And one movement will be up like this. And then when we reach the heart chakra, it will go down like this. Very slowly. Up like this, and then upturn, and down like this. If we close our eyes, concentration will be better. And then there is a practice that is practiced by Indians in India. And what they do is they do breathing exercise. This is called pranayama. Why the breathing? Pranayama, prana means vital energy, yama means practice, discipline of movement of vital energy. But they're just doing breathing. What does breathing do? Breathing is very interesting, isn't it? Breathing means if you are breathing in the stomach, then stomach organs are active. That's what breathing means. Breathing is bringing oxygen to the stomach organ, and which means that the stomach organs will be, these navel organs will be active. And then if I breathe up, as I breathe up, I'm bringing oxygen to the organs in the heart chakra. So breathing up while I raise my palms, activated palm first, I raise with breathing up, breathing in, inhale, and then I hold the breath in the heart chakra, and then I breathe out. Very slowly. And when you breathe out, you exhaust your stomach. See that your stomach goes flat. And again, you stop a bit. Hold that breathe out situation. Don't immediately allow the breath to be in. And then again, you breathe in, expand, and in that expanded heart, you stay like that. Hold the breath. And then upturn your palms and breathe out again. And exhaust the stomach, flat stomach. Okay? This is called chakra balancing, and this one is extremely important for quantum activists. What it will do is bring the can-do spirit of the men to women and bring the sharing spirit, love that women have more capability for. What that does is balances power with love. And this is most important. Because then when we are empowered, we share the power with people, with our friends, with our family, with our community. We make everybody powerful. Okay? In this way. So why are we getting vital energy exercises to do creativity? Because creativity is the exploration of the archetype. Archetypes can be represented in both thought and feeling. If we do it both prongs, both thought and feeling, the archetypal exploration is much more facilitated. Much, much more facilitated. Becomes much more fruitful. Okay? Notice how we use imagination. And notice also why we stop. We breathe in, we hold the breath. Similarly, we also do in thinking. We think actively and then we stop. We don't think. So what happens when we are stopping? That's the part which is called do. Remember I said the slogan of the quantum activists is do. Do and be. So when we hold the breath, we are into being for vital energy. When we stop thinking and relax, then we are in the being state for mental meaning processing. What happens when we do that? The thoughts that we are consciously thinking, the feelings that we are consciously feeling, they become potentiality and go into the unconscious for unconscious processing. They will be processed, but now in the unconscious. They go on. Things never stop. The world goes on even when you sleep. That's obvious, right? But where? The unconscious. Nobody is looking. Unconscious, in the unconscious. So same thing happens with our thoughts and feelings. They are processed in the unconscious. That is called, with another I, incubation. So we have imagination and then incubation. Incubation is nothing but unconscious processing. Things become waves, and waves propagate. Waves become bigger and bigger pools of possibility. This is what we incubate. We incubate, we be, because we want bigger pools of possibility to choose from. Why choose from just what we can think of consciously? How many things can we think of consciously? Not very many. You try. You try to imagine. How many things can you imagine? Suppose I show you the pen and I say, okay, imagine all kinds of functions for it. Yeah, you'll come over something. You'll say, okay, I can use it as a scale. I can use it as a ruler. A physics kid came up with the idea that he can use it as a barometer. Very clever. If you drop this and it falls, and you measure the time of fall, you can actually figure out from that the atmospheric pressure at the site. But the kid was a physics student, so naturally he knew that. If you're not a physics student, you cannot think of that. How many more things can you think of? One person came up with the idea, I can hit somebody with it. Not very effective, very little effect, but still, if you poke it into somebody's eye, that might have an effect. Who knows, right? But how many like that can you think? Not that many, right? Very limited number. So he put these ideas into the unconscious. In unconscious, they grow and grow and grow. But what happens? Why do we repeat this cycle instead of just doing a whole bunch and then being a whole bunch? Because what happens is that what the part of doing we want is focused doing. We want to focus on the problem. We cannot focus for very long. It's just simple limitation of the brain. We have to acknowledge that. And similarly, if we try to relax for too long, the focus will be gone in the unconscious. Unconscious will pick up its usual concern, usual anxiety-producing stuff. This is why we need to repeat the cycle. Do, be, do, be, do. Okay? Now, for training the mind, meditation is divided into two parts. One is called the doing meditation. I don't know what Lila is exactly teaching you. Probably focusing doing meditation, if it is a mantra or breathing practice. What is it? Is it breathing? B meditation, relaxing. Okay, mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation or meditation on the subject is a B meditation. But you can also do it on a focusing meditation. You can focus on a candlelight, that's a very useful one. Or you can focus on a thought, the mantra. So do meditation and be meditation. Do, be, do, be, do. You can do it either one. And what happens is something very, very interesting. This is why we meditate. Before you meditate, either form, your thoughts are always going like this. You meditate a while, one thought comes, one thought comes, one thought comes. This gap becomes quite noticeable. In that gap, there is no thought. Of course, as soon as you become aware of the gap, that's a thought. That's the tricky part. But when you become aware, you must remember that what are you being aware of? There was no thought. You are being aware of the fact, there was no thought. So it actually happens. No thought state actually happens to us. Where do we go in those states? We go into the unconscious. And there indeed the possibility pool to choose from increases. And that's how the choice encompasses the new. New possibility that never occurred before now can be chosen from. Your intention already has attuned you to the movement of consciousness. So when that new possibility is generated by your efforts, by your do, then consciousness can choose. So, what are the important things that happened here? First of all, we were inspired, we made intention, we found the problem, we focused on an archetype, intuition. Then we let our imagination proliferate and proliferate and proliferate. It's called divergent thinking by some people. And then we let the unconscious process it, incubation. We did it repeatedly, do. Next, what happens is called the crucial step, insight. And it is also a quantum leap. What do we mean by quantum leap? We have a picture here. Let me show you the picture. When electrons jump from one orbit to another in an atom, they don't go through the intervening space. When thoughts take a quantum leap, they don't follow a rational route. No step-by-step rational thinking. They just get the insight. We just get the insight. All of a sudden we know. We didn't know, and all of a sudden we know. Quantum leaps come with the assurance that I know. Quantum leaps also come with the surprise, because they are quantum leap. I did not figure it out by rationality, where I would anticipate some result. I cannot anticipate the result of a quantum leap. It's total surprise. So in English, it's called aha experience, aha, surprise. Okay? Insight. This is what we are looking for. The insight that will tell us what we need to do, what do we need to change in my behavior, what product do I need to make that will fulfill this creative inspiration that came to me. It could be a business product. For Steve Jobs, it was the cell phone. Not one quantum leap. Many, many quantum leaps now will take place in the process that we call manifestation. But let's throw in another I, since we are into I. So it's traditionally called manifestation, but we can also use the English word implementation. So creativity is a process of 7 I's. Easy to remember if you do it this way, but I gave you the traditional words as well. Manifestation is very, very interesting part because here is where that flow will take place. Manifestation is not just getting the insight and then you know what to do. That it does not work that way. Very seldom it works that way. Sometimes it can. Like, for example, you have a disease and you healed it with the creative process. So you're healed. When the insight came, insight was the healing, that you can be whole. You choose health and your immune system got so strong it killed off your tumor, like the story of the woman that I told yesterday. This is what quantum healing is about, this creative process. There was an editor of Saturday Review who lived in the 1980s, Norman Cousins. Case is famous. He had a very serious disease, I forget the name of it, and he wanted to heal himself. So we engaged in this process. His process was to watch funny movies, laugh. Can laugh get us into a creative breakthrough? It did for him. It did for him. It took the quantum leap by just simply watching funny movies and laughing with gusto. Other people have healed their cancer by visualizing. Doesn't work in one sitting, do. You visualize, you relax, visualize, you relax, and then one of the times of visualization or relaxation, something happens and you are healed. Quantum healing. What is manifestation for quantum healing? You have to change your lifestyle. Now you have gotten the idea that in order to heal, we have to achieve wholeness. I was divided. Cancer was a sign of the deep division that I live. My life became divided. It was the various parts of my life were not jiving together. They are not congruent. So now I know I have to give up those divided kind of life and integrate. That's the lesson I have to learn. I have to integrate. I was ignoring my vital body. I had wrong construction of my mind. I was giving wrong meaning, and they are not fitting the situation with my physical body. Now I am going to integrate. I'm going to take care of not only my physical body, but also my vitality, also my mind, and even my archetypal aspect of me. Integrate my living style. That's the lesson we learned from healing. And as we live this integral style, we become healthy. Our immune system forever remains healthy. And cancerous cells will always be killed off. Okay? So in this way, we are developing a theory for medicine. In this way, we are developing for manifesting any of the archetypes, for scientific creativity, for artistic creativity, creativity in music, even creativity in doling out justice. Everywhere, if we make a decision in a creative way, instead of trying to figure it out, today we deal with justice by rational thinking. We try to make laws and then we bring in rational thinking. Is justice served? Most of the time it isn't served. Today justice system has become a sham. Poor never get justice. Only the rich people, they don't get justice, they get off from crime. That's what happens. And many innocent people get punished because they have no money. How can judges dole out justice? They have to be creative. Lawyers will do their best to serve their client. That is their job. The judge stopped being creative. This is what happened to the criminal justice system. They have no intuition and no creativity. So it's either you have prior prejudice or you try your best to be rationally weigh the evidence, this side, that side, and that's the way people go to a court and get a judgment. There is a better way. If we do it the creative way, we'll know the truth. This is what is fair. This is the just. In the olden days, that's what people used to do. So this kind of system can come back only if we allow ourselves to recognize that these archetypes are here. These archetypes make our life worthwhile, and we can find them by creative endeavor, creative enterprise. And that's what we should do. Okay? Creativity. 7 I's. Start with inspiration, then intention, intuition, imagination, incubation, insight, and implementation. This is the life quantum activist lives. What happens? We get confidence that we can do. What happens? We get character, can-do character, able character, I'm capable. We also get authentic character, because authenticity, truth, is the basic quality of all archetypes. As we investigate the archetypes, we become authentic. We get conviction because we know the truth. We have seen the archetype face to face when that insight came. I was in the quantum self. I was in that expansion. I know because I had that intuition. I knew exactly what it's about. That gives me certainty, conviction. Nothing can dissuade me from conviction because I know the truth. I may have represented the truth somewhat in a compromised fashion because I don't have adequate language. So I'm still fallible. I'm not infallible. But for that moment, I knew the truth. And because I knew the truth, I have a conviction, basic conviction that I'm in the right direction. That conviction is essential for getting things done. If you want to be a leader in the quantum style, you've got to be creative to get that conviction. You've got to be creative to get that character that has conviction. Okay? So all these things creativity brings us. And then, of course, there is the question of communication, and that too is very important. And manifestation, implementation, that is part of the communication. The product, that has to be useful and all that. It's all part of creativity. It can be applied to every archetype. This application to wholeness archetype, we didn't know that, and this was discovered. Deepak Chopra called it quantum healing, and that phrase has stuck. Beautiful phrase, quantum healing. Any disease we can heal by quantum healing. Any disease. People have been trying various diseases. I get letters all the time, and it works. But you have to be patient. It takes time. So if you have emergency, we still say that go to the allopathic doctor, take care of the emergency. That will buy you time. Then you get into quantum healing. But quantum healing is absolutely a definite way of healing ourselves, achieving wholeness. And same thing applies for achieving prosperity, same thing applies for achieving happiness. All of this matter of being creative. How much time do we have? Do we have time for a little bit more questions, answers?
We can do 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. Please. What did I do with my... Oh, I have it on my ear. No, I already have it. Okay, please ask. Questions? People are too hungry to ask questions. Yeah. Good.
Mis te arvate, mis hakkab muutuma kvantarvutite kasutuselevõtuga?
Say it again.
What will happen?
Quantum computers will facilitate certain type of communication. Certain type of computation they will be able to achieve. That we cannot achieve now. It will be faster, but only in a type of communication. It won't be universally possible because computers cannot have consciousness. So the conscious aspects of communication, that cannot be accomplished by quantum computers. But in a certain type of things, we can correlate things in such a way that if this part is actualized, then the other part is bound to be actualized in a definite state. So in that sense, we can perform predictable things using the quantum aspect of computers. But we cannot use it generally because you don't have the ability of, computers cannot choose, they don't have consciousness. But we can correlate things, and what happens when you correlate two things is that one state determines the other state. So in that way, a certain amount of communication is possible. So when you think of human beings, don't think of computers. Even quantum computers, our capacity is much, much bigger than anything a computer can do. However, Mechanical things computers will do better because those are the capacities we don't have so much. Our capacities, brain's capacity is very limited in terms of those things that computers can do. So what we have to do to deal with the next level of computation capacities is that to give the computer what they can do best, let the robots of that day, let them take care of all mechanical things, and we just free ourselves all the mechanical things. That should be extra motivation for all of us to learn and practice quantum principles and quantum worldview. Because what is the quantum telling us? Quantum is teaching us how to handle things that computers cannot handle. Computers cannot handle meaning. Computers cannot have feeling. Computers, of course, cannot do archetypes. These are the things that human beings can do. So the society in another 100 years will be completely different. We cannot even imagine how different society will be. But we are the beginners of the new society. By doing what we are doing here, by making our decision now to already get into this way of living, we are anticipating the coming age where every human being will be forced to look into meaning and purpose. Those are the two things computers cannot do. They can do our meaning, our purpose, but we have to define the meaning and the purpose for them. Norbert Wiener, who was one of the pioneers of computer research, he had it pat. He used to say, let the computers do its thing, that human beings do their thing. And then lesser thinkers got it all mixed up. They thought we human beings are nothing but computers, so computers can do everything. No, that never will be the case, because human beings have a computational part, a predictive part, a conditioned part, but that part is way inferior to what an actual computing machine can do. So what will happen is that we give that part to robots, and then that will free us in exploring the archetypes, which robots cannot do. Okay? Any other questions?
Minu küsimus on, et kuidas karma on seotud kvantfüüsikaga ja mis see seos on?
Say it again, I missed it. Okay. Karma has to do with reincarnation. This is a subject which takes too long, so I was trying to avoid it. So I'll be very brief. Since you asked, I will answer you. So quantum physics has a very interesting concept. This concept of character that I once in a while mentioned. What is character? Character is a pattern of habits, right? But more than that, character is a pattern of habits that comes to us easy without effort. We don't have to make any effort. If your character is being a musician, then you just are a musician. You can listen to a music, and just like that, you can play it. My character is a scientist, philosopher, and that comes naturally to me. I don't have to make any special effort. Engage in the creative process, but not in that effortful way that we do things when we don't have part of that as a character. So where does this character exist? Is it in the brain? This capacity of getting things done without effort? Or even habits, where are they? Are they in the brain? Quantum physics gives us the astounding result that they are not in the brain. They are non-local memory, outside of the brain. The brain researcher actually verified this. Carl Lashley taught a whole bunch of rats a Y maze, how to find cheese. On one side, Y maze, it's a Y. On one side there is cheese, one side there is electric shock. I taught rats to find the cheese. And then, so the rat experiment, he taught the rats to find the cheese in a Y maze. Okay? And once the rat learned it, however much the brain is gone, rat can always find the cheese. So he decided that the memory could not be in the brain. That's one decision. Actually, he didn't quite make that decision. He thought the memory must be everywhere with the brain. But that doesn't work because people tried to look at that and could not find any verification of that. So only explanation then is that it's not in the brain. Where is it then? That's what we call today non-local. It's outside of space and time altogether. Non-local memory. So this concept has given us a theory of what ancient people call reincarnation. This is a very popular concept in India, Tibet, China, many places in the world. In the West also it was quite popular, and then Christianity banned it in 5th century AD, Constantinople. Roman Empire was divided at that time, East-West conflicts, and so they got rid of the idea. Lots of data in favor of it, not just Lashley's data. We have a very good theory. So karma is this learned propensities. That's what karma is about. Many misinterpretations exist, but the real meaning of karma, the original meaning of karma, as in the Indian treatises, is this learned propensity. Learned patterns of habit, learned patterns of character. If you are a musician, you will inherit that property in your next life. If you are a scientist, you will inherit that characteristic. If you are a lover, you will inherit that characteristic. Not quite as simple. It will be available to you for inheriting is the correct way of thinking of it. You have to still trigger it. You are a new body, new brain. Unless it's triggered, the propensity will not come to you in a natural way. But if we can trigger it, then it comes. Sometimes triggering takes a long time. Even archetypes, archetypal memory, even that is there. So I had this archetype of wholeness, but it took me till the age of 37 to discover that that is my archetype, to integrate.